I think Elena has been frozen. Give us a few minutes. There we
Chance.
go.
Oh, what's happening?
You froze for about 10 seconds there.
Oh, I did?
Yes.
So you heard about the Green Terror, correct?
Can you say it again? I don't think they did.
Oh, then that was more than 2 seconds. Okay. All right. So we call this the Green Terror group because Green Terror is actually a Buddhist goddess who is guided by her soul and does her heart's desire. So that's why we love that. And it's so perfect for Soul Manifesto because that's what we learn is how to live by our soul and be guided by it while we're trying to accomplish whatever it is we want to accomplish in our life, whatever we want to learn, whatever we want to grow in. So, anyway, and tonight we'll be talking about how to find peace in chaos. And I don't think this could be even any better time to have this topic because right now a lot of people are feeling like they are in chaos, that they're just spinning. You know, it seems like as soon as we get our footing, seems like we just feel like we know what we're doing and we're getting ourselves back up, pulling ourselves up by our bridges. And wham, we get another piece of news that just sends us spiraling down again. And I get it. And that's why anxiety is up, depression is up, people are angry. We see so many angry people right now everywhere we go. It's sad. But I also see a sense of kindness and compassion starting to come in too. But it's very easy for us to get caught up into the chaos of the world, the chaos of our world, the chaos of our neighborhood. So, how do we, in these chaotic times, learn how to have peace and still function? You know, still get out there and help our kids find our job, whatever it is, but to have that peace inside that guides us. And that's what I want to talk about today. And I want to start first of all, I told you about, all this chaos that we're living in, right now. It doesn't seem to matter what times we're living in. I remember before all this COVID stuff that people were still in chaos. They got addicted to busyness, which is another topic we need to talk about. Are you addicted to busyness? And we think that if we're not busy, we're not doing anything. And we end up spinning around in that busy world, not really accomplishing a lot. We are ones who were always we got caught up in something, always a drama. So I saw just as much chaos a lot of fear added to the chaos. So what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter when it is, we can let that drama, we can let that over people loading stuff on us, we can let all of that still come into our life and create chaos in our world. So all because when COVID is all said and done and we get back to some way of living that we remember, it's very easy to slip into the same habits and let that chaos enter into our brain again and our body and our lives. So don't think this is a unique time, and don't think this is the only time that you've ever really felt chaos. The people who controlled the chaos before controlled it during the COVID. They're the same. And they will continue to have it afterwards. Now, during the COVID, a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, it's horrible. I'm in chaos and I can't control this. Well, this is a good time to learn. This is a good time to learn. And so what I'm saying is we cannot really blame the times. When we really want peace, it's up to us to cultivate it. Peace is not inherent. Now, maybe when we were born, we felt peace, but even the trauma of having coming through the birth canal and coming out into this world, that's not a very peaceful journey for most. And so there wasn't even peace on arrival. So we have to cultivate peace in our lives. And it's really not that hard. And I do think I learned to cultivate peace when I was going through a really bad divorce. And while I was going through that really bad divorce, my world was spinning just like people's worlds are spinning right now. And I had to learn how to stop everything and start to find that peace within. And I'll tell you, at that time, oh my gosh, it was hard. But after the first 2 or 3 times, the first 2 or 3 days, then I fell in love with how I felt. And then it was easy. So I want to talk about some of the benefits of it first, because then when I give you the tools, you'll see that. And I also want to hear from you. Oh, by the way, this is a discussion group. That means what I'm going to do is when I'll talk about it a little bit, but then guys, I want to hear from you, because it's you that makes the difference. And I love to hear ideas and questions, comments, anything. All right. So why do you want to have peace in your life? Okay. And is it realistic to feel like we can go around going, all the time? Well, let me tell you what I have found. It is realistic to feel that wonderful inner peace. In fact, some people have even said to me that no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm laughing, whether I'm talking, they can feel a very solid inner peace, my inner core. And that's because there is. And people feel it. In fact, James Allen even said, As a Man Thinketh, and he's a really cool writer. The writing is kind of older, like a kind of an old English, but it's not really hard to understand. And there's a chapter in Serenity, his chapter Serenity, in As a Man Thinketh. And so everyone wants to gather around that shaded tree. I hope I'm not freezing up. My computer just said I was unstable.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So people can feel that core. And you will find that when people are around you, they start to get the calm too. It's really cool. It's sort of, and animals too. It's so funny. Animals will just gather to you and calm. Isn't it cool? That I find just fun. But what other things to get that peace? I think what I love the most about being in peace is that the world stops spinning. I mean, you're not pulled from one circumstance to another. As soon as you walk out the door, you're like, oh no, I gotta get this done. Oh my gosh. And then this person says, hey, Elena, I need you over here. And Elena, I need this over here. And you just get pulled back and forth like a freaking ping pong ball. And you just go to every little thing that needs you. And you yourself, you're not grounded anywhere. So it's like you're flitting and your mind can't get centered. And so there's no clarity, there's no nothing. So there's no more of that. There's no more of that. And yeah, there'll be people who want you over here, and there'll be people over here, and there'll be things to do over here, and the kids need to go over here. But you will be right here. It's really a neat feeling. And you'll do that stuff, but you are centered. You have a core that doesn't go flitting all over the place, and you don't go spinning around and losing sight of you. I used to do that when I was younger. I'd flit. And then at the end of the day, I'd be exhausted and feel like I didn't accomplish anything. So I also found that I gained clarity and intention. And everything that I do, I have fun, but I have an inner clarity of the people I'm dealing with, of the situation I'm dealing with. I'm able to not get down into the weeds, but always have more and more a vision above the trees. So I can see the whole situation in its entirety. And that gives me a bigger insight when I'm making decisions for my kids or my business. I find that I also have clear communication because I find that I listen more. I don't always have to have the center stage. I find I listen more, and I also, that calmness allows me to see deeper than what they're saying. And when I do that, then that helps me to have deeper conversations with people and even form deeper relationships, which I really like. I also think I like how it takes even when I'm really having fun, all the hectic feelings, hectic times, hectic activities don't affect me anymore. I really don't get pulled like a ping pong ball all over the court. Do ping pong balls have courts? I think so. I'm not a sports person. But anyway, I don't get pulled all over the place. And I think that's one of the biggest things. And one of the biggest, you don't get pulled into the drama anymore. And boy, that disappoints some people. I never say I don't like drama because I don't even have to worry about it. I don't get pulled into it. And I usually find that the people who say they don't like drama are usually the ones that create it. And so when they say that, especially if a man says to me, I don't like drama, like, okay, so I do. But usually they're the ones that bring the drama in. I'm always just like, well, so goes life, And I don't really, I spot the drama and I just choose, well, I think it's silly actually. You get to the point where you see it's silly. It really is. The calmness allows you to start gaining a higher perception of yourself and the world. And it really does start with calmness. Now, before I give the tools, I would love to hear from someone. I would love to hear, if you have that calmness in your world, and B, if you don't, why do you want it? So who would like to, and because that will guide me on which tool I start talking about. So who would like to start? Any volunteers? Della, would you like to start?
Sure. I do have some tools that I use to keep the peace in the midst of the chaos. And one is just stepping back and taking a deep breath and deciding on one thing that I'm going to focus on, whether that is the most important thing by priority or not, but just finding one thing to focus on. And that helps me to calm myself in the middle of the busyness. And then when I do that, I also find that if that wasn't the number one priority that I should have been concentrating on, now I can actually hone in on that number one priority and get it done next.
That is important.
Yeah, but initially I'll just pick something and do that something to give myself peace. And then, you know, everything else normally falls in line after that.
Isn't that cool? So she's doing things with focus and intention. And so she knows that this is the tool. If she picks one thing and she does it and she focuses on it, stays in the present and does it, it calms her down so that everything else starts to fall in line. Do you see? That's a very cool tool. I like that. Thank you, Della, for sharing that. That is very cool. One thing I also wanted to add, one of the other things that calmness affords me is that I find that I don't have to apologize so much. Isn't that interesting? And do you know why that is? It is interesting. And do you know why that is? It's because when I find that when I'm calm, I'm responding more. I don't react. And it's in the reaction that you do the things that you need to apologize for. You say the things that you wish you wouldn't have said. You do the actions you wish you wouldn't have done. And I find that I do that a lot less. And here's the really one thing I love, the calmness. You wouldn't think calmness did all this, but it does. You know why? Because it gives you time. It gives you time, and you don't feel that urgency to react. You don't feel that urgency to respond or to do what other people want you to do, or that urgency. You know you can get it done, and you can get it done better and do more of it in the same amount of time when you're calm. But one thing I found is I also don't feel guilty anymore, because the things that I do it with intention. So sometimes, you know, in the old days, on my sacred space, I have this really wonderful place I love to go. And it has this giant willow tree that's my willow tree. I sit under that willow tree and I just allow myself to get absorbed with that tree. But that sacred space is in another town that's 20 minutes from mine. Now, you'd say, well, when do you get there? I get there a lot. And I don't feel the guilt because I know how important that is to me and to my state of mind, to my being, for me to take a breath. I love being with that tree. I love being with that ground that I'm on. I love being with all the hawks and everything else that come around. I need that to nurture. And so I don't feel guilty anymore. It's just a calm, that's what I'm going to do. It really, when you start to really cultivate the calm in your life, it changes your life. It really, really does. So, does anybody else have a tool that they use to get calm, or would like to state why they would like calmness in their life other than the things I mentioned? Ooh, we got a quiet group. Well, please feel free to talk, because like I said, this is a a discussion group, and I gear my conversation towards your comments. Annette, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I joined late. So you said what tools we use to get calm? That was the question?
Oh, yeah. What do you use to get calm, or why do you want calmness in your life?
Why do we want calmness? Because we all know stress is not good for us, and we're not operating from a good place. What helped me, for me, it's always going out to nature. Like just sitting at home in front of the computer, I feel way more stressed. It's like the moment I go out to the street, I live, in a nice suburb, it's all green, like I already feel so much better. And if I go into nature, even much better.
Yes, I know. I absolutely, personally love nature. I mean, that's why I love my sacred space, and I especially love going there. I do heart math breathing, and I meditate 2 times a day. Susan, I like that. All right. All right. Well, I'm going to add stuff to that too. I like that. Yeah. And that, I think going out into nature is really cool. You know what I do? Because I used to get really tense when I got on the computer too, because I do a lot of work on the computer. I
Yeah.
do a lot of writing. I do a lot of everything on the computer. So, like, especially if I'm going to do writing or I have a lot of paperwork to do on it, paperwork, not even paperwork anymore. But I decided if I create the environment around me, the calmness of the environment, so I won't sit at a desk anymore. What I mean? Instead of, I'm going to sit and do some work. See the difference right there?
No,
So
sorry, it's all frozen. Can you please repeat it?
oh gosh, how far back?
From the
About
beginning,
2 minutes.
when you're doing paperwork.
Oh gosh, way back there. Okay. So when I have to do paperwork, which we really don't even have paper to do paperwork, but when I have to do a lot of work on the computer, I took it away from my desk and I take I got a laptop. And so what I do is I go into areas like this. And I know you can't see this, but there are windows all around this room.
Oh, no.
And so I can feel the nature. Or I go into the family room and I light candles everywhere. And then I put music that's calm, like just like calming meditation music or something. And I allow myself, so actually, and I get myself a cup of tea so that when I sit down to write or I sit down to do work or I sit down to create something, I actually just feel like, instead of feeling like, oh, I got to sit down and do, instead I feel like, oh, I get to sit down and do. Hear the difference?
Yeah, I agree. Just I have a desktop and the other thing. So yes, definitely. For me, it's also, I think social media just doesn't do well to us. And I open stuff
Oh,
and you get
no,
sucked into
no,
things.
no.
And especially with me being activist, I see all this stuff that go everywhere, and that's really can be very stressful. And I'm trying not to do it, but I still fall into it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I know. Well, you know what? You can still do it. I still get on social media, even though, but I regulate myself, and
Right.
I'm like,
I want to take a break, but the problem is I'm running our Facebook page, so I have to do it, and I have to check all
well,
the other
that's what I mean.
things. So
No, 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 no. I mean, I regulate it a day. I get on it every day. I have to. So, but what I do is I allow myself 20 minutes in the morning and 15 at night, and that's it. Because I found that when I was doing it more than I was just doing the thumb thing, flipping through, you know? But I allow myself a little bit of, like, I actually even put times, like I know I have 5 minutes in my 20-minute time to thumb through and do likes and comments and whatever. And then other times I'm looking for sharing my stuff to groups or whatever. I do the tech, whatever I want to get the news out there. And then I split my 20 minutes so I know what I'm doing each time. So that way I'm not on it all day and I'm not thumbing through it at the grocery store or whatever. I'm off of it. I don't have to hear
I
the
don't
news.
do it. I don't do it on my phone. Just again because I run my Facebook and I need to see what's going on because so I'm involved in other groups in this area, and then you see all the bad stuff. So that's very stressful. But I'm trying to limit it, to reduce
Yeah,
it.
to reduce it. Well, that's one way to do it. And another way is, even if you're not moving your computer, then create around you. At least put the music that calms you down. Get the favorite drink that you like.
Yeah.
Get things that make it seem more like a treat instead of I'm sitting down to work.
Yeah.
It's changing the way you're doing it. So, all right. So let's talk about this. Now, oh gosh, I have to look back in the chat. Susan, it was Susan who was um, doing that wonderful, yeah, the meditation 2 times a day. I meditate 2 times a day too, because when you meditate, it is Oh my gosh, when we meditate, it's one of the best ways possible. So it is, I was going to say meditation. I was, oh, okay. So what do I do at Established Peace? Now, when I give you the tools, guys, it's really more about you taking these tools, adapting them to you. Don't adapt them so much that they don't matter. You know what I mean? They still have to have an effect. Sometimes we adapt them so much to our life that our life doesn't change. So don't do that, but do it so that they're more effective for you. You see more change. That's what I mean. So first of all, I always have a morning connection. All right. So like Susan, I meditate, but I always start with my gratitudes. I start with building the beauty around me. If it's too cold, then I'll stay inside and I'll curl up in a chair. I don't usually do it at a desk. That's not conducive to how I want to feel. Or I go out on my back porch and I have a cup of tea and I have my journal and I write my gratitude. For writing gratitude, I usually put at the top, I have a special notebook for that. And I write, a thank you. You can be as formal as that, that's fine. But me, it's thank you, thank you, thank you. And then from 1 to 10, I list things that I'm grateful for.
Can you go back to?
Oh,
can you
there
go
it goes
back
again.
To yeah, can you go back to when you were sharing the thank you part and do that one again?
Really? Wow, this is not a good internet night, is it? All right, so I put thank you, thank you, thank you on the top of the page. Some people put, I'm so happy and grateful now that. You can put whatever you want at the top that means something to you. But me, I love to just say thank you, thank you, thank you. So I put that on there and then I list my gratitudes 1 to 10. And I list them all, whatever it is. But I really feel my gratitudes. And so if I say I'm so happy and grateful for my wonderful family, I feel the blessings of this awesome, incredible family I have. If I say I am so happy and grateful for the shade of the trees, I feel the shade of the trees. I allow myself to get into the vibration of what I am grateful for. And then after that, then I sit quietly and I ask, because my vibration is way up here now. Then I say, and how may I serve the best in this day? And I close my eyes and I allow myself to go into a little mini meditation. And I allow whatever comes to me to come to me. And if it doesn't come to me, that's okay. I feel peace. I feel that what I call the sweet spot of nothing and everything, where you're just in consciousness. And I just allow myself to be happy. And then during the day, the reply always comes. And then at the end of that, then I send love to either 3 people or 3 circumstances that are giving me problems. And then after that, I look at my schedule and I write it out on another piece of paper. I know I can look at my phone. I know I can look at my schedule book. But why I write it out is because as I'm writing it out, I'm thinking, okay, 2 things actually, or 3. I'm thinking, okay, who do I want to be during this day? How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel like I'm running from here to here and I've got 4 meetings? Okay, I want to make sure that during this time of these 4 meetings, I want to be focused and have clarity. So I'm going to look in there and I'm going to say, okay, during this time, I'm going to take a little 5 minutes right before this meeting, and I'm going to do a little mini meditation and really center myself. And that's important. These little mini little meditations that you do where you just, I talk about it a lot, where you breathe in and then breathe out. And then you breathe in again and breathe out. You do that 3 times. And then the next time you breathe in, you catch the breath between the in and the out, but you don't hold it. So you breathe in, and out. Breathe in again. And if you practice that, you'll find you get into that timeless place that feels so good. And it centers your breathing. It centers your core. Your shoulders fall. And you can get you just get that feeling that, okay, I'm ready to step forward. Do you see? So I do those. Sometimes it depends on how, if my schedule is really, really busy, I'll do that 3 or 4 times a day. All right. So I'm cultivating my peace. And I also wrote out Serenity. Now, Serenity is on the internet. It's chapter 4, I think, of Think and Grow, As a Man Thinketh, James Allen. And you can look that up. And in Serenity, I actually, at one point in my life, for 3 months, I wrote out that chapter. Yes, I did. Actually, that's not my practice or something that I've developed. That was actually what Bob Proctor, a very good friend of mine, he has you do that. And I took him seriously. I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. And it works. It works. So you write out Serenity. And that's a very good way. And that can be in place of your morning connection too. It works well. And then when I was going through a really tough time, and it was a very, 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 very stressful time in my life. And again, through my divorce, but I was in court a lot, and court gave me this horrible, horrible feeling, and I couldn't get centered. Sometimes you have trouble with that, okay? And when I got on the stand, because I was jittery, because the energy in the room is so yuck, and I could feel it, and I couldn't get my grounding, okay? Then they'd make a fool out of me every time. So I thought to myself, okay, this can't happen. I got to stop this. I got to pull this together. I'm sick of looking like an idiot, and we're doing custody of the kids, and I really need to look like I know what I'm doing, right? So I developed this. I created a trigger. All right, so this is what I did, and I still use this. Every time I picked a word. Now I picked it from James Allen because I was working on that Serenity chapter, and he has a phrase, "Be still my heart." And you can pick any phrase. You can pick Kalamazoo. I don't care, but this phrase is going to mean something to you by the end of the exercise. But mine was, "Be still my heart." So every time I stopped at a stoplight, like when I'm driving in my car, I'd say, "Be still my heart." And then at first I had to make it happen. I'd allow my breath to get deeper. I'd drop my shoulders, allow my eyelids to relax, and I'd allow my hips to loosen, and I would just work it myself. And then I'd go with the cars, and then the next stoplight, I'd say, "Be still my heart." And again, I'd have to make it happen. Pretty soon, by the second day, I'd say, "Be still my heart," and my whole body would just relax. And what that did when I went into that courtroom and I had to get up on the stand, I said, "Be still my heart." And all of a sudden, a deep breath came and my shoulders went down. And when they asked questions, I was just talking just like this. And all of a sudden I could hear through. I knew exactly at that moment what they were doing that was screwing me up. And it wasn't what they were asking. It was the actions. It was the rolling of the eyes. It was the weirdness they would do after I answered a question. It was the little antics. And because I was so calm, I saw it and I thought, "Oh my gosh, now I get it." And it never bothered me again. So in that calm state, so you can develop a trigger. You really can do that. It's a good trigger, and it would help you when you go into meetings. It helps you when you you have phobias. It helps you when you are going out on dates. Whatever you find stressful, this can help you. But you have to learn, and you are training your body to reflect a word, that word creates then in your cognitive structure a way of being, and it stays with you. Isn't that incredible? So it's a really good trigger. So that's one way. But on an everyday level, I create that peace in my day. And if ever I feel like I'm going through a really hard day, I stop. I always tell the story when on Saturdays I was the cab driver for my 3 boys when they were all in sports and stuff. And I remember I was in that car from 9 to 5 every Saturday. I hated Saturdays. God, I hated it. And so I'd get into that car and I'm driving one, picking up another, driving another, pick up another. And I remember my oldest said to me, he got into the car at one point and he goes, Mom, I got to go to John's house, which is way up on the other side of town, which is 20 minutes, and then come back before that next meeting because I have to get something for the meeting. And I'm looking at him like, are you crazy? I don't want to do that. And I just stopped. I took a breath and I said, we're going to stop at a coffee shop. He goes, we don't have time. I said, yes, we do. And I got out of the car. I didn't even go through drive-through because I thought I have to get my peace back because I am not happy. And I went inside. I talked to the baristers. I talked to people as I was waiting for my drink to be made. I even loved the music. I let myself just breathe. And then I got back into the car. And it did change me enough where I said to him, I said, you know what, let's turn on some fun music. And we turned on some fun music and we rocked in the car. Do you see? You are responsible for taking the extra little step to put yourself in that calm state. If you don't, no one else in this world values it. They don't care if you're calm or you're not. They just want you to get done whatever they want you to get done, or to be whatever they want you to be. But see, that wears on you. And I think, Gabor Mate. I'm going to be interviewing him on my show. He is a doctor. He used to be a pediatrician, and then he also dealt with cancer. He's also, and he deals with trauma. He talks about trauma. And he talks about, and he said an interesting thing that I thought about a lot. He said, it's very amazing. You know, when they say the good die young, he says it's true. He says, and do you know why? Because they are so busy being something for somebody else that they haven't taken care of themselves. They haven't dealt with their own issues. They don't do things to calm themselves down. They don't do things that give them longevity. But they're always answering to someone else. They're always filling a void trying to answer for someone else. And what happens is they wear themselves out and they hold down emotions. So we owe it to ourselves to fill our cups first. Because we're worth living a long, healthy life. And plus, if we don't have it inside of ourselves, it's very hard to give it. Because we don't have it. So it's having some kind of morning connection. And let me tell you, you can copy my morning connection, which is fine, or you can develop your own. Oh, I also love yoga. I hurt my knee, so I haven't been able to do it, but so I forgot it, but I always add yoga sometime in the morning. I get up a half an hour earlier and I do yoga. Why? Because I do like a sacred yoga, which helps me to just open up my heart and my soul just to the universe even more, and I love it. So I love the yoga, but develop something in the morning, and really your morning connection, whatever it is, it has to have some components, and that is it has to raise your vibration, raise you're the way you're feeling, your vibration, okay? So it has to raise that. It has to connect you more to your core, your calmness, and it has to connect to something bigger than you, okay? And that is what a morning connection is. So it can be a mind, body, spirit, at least a mind, spirit, whatever floats your boat. And then it's taking those breaks, whatever, or setting it up during the day, knowing what's going to happen. And then when something gets thrown into your day, you're not thrown, because you've been practicing this wonderful way of being, that when something is added, your mind doesn't go, oh, I got to do that. No, it goes to, okay, what's the best way for me to fit this into this day? See how it's different? That mindset alone is 100% different. How can I bring this into the day that keeps my flow going? Totally different than, I've got to get that done for that person. No more does that happen. And you still get it done. And you do it more efficiently because you're not harried. Do you see? Calmness is a way of being. And I don't want you to think that calmness is this all the time, or you're always serious. In fact, no, you laugh more, and it's a true deep laugh because you have the time to laugh. And you have the time to be happy, and you have the time to just feel good. But it takes time for you. Now, this is a good time for questions, because I know you're all thinking about your own schedules. You're thinking about your life. I need to hear questions so that I can direct this in another way if I need to. So who would like to offer something up? Really? This is so easy. You're just going to nab this. And next week, you're going to be so calm. You're going to say, Elena, you're going to write comments on Soul Manifesto. Elena, I am so calm now. I got this in the bud. I just got this. My life is just changed. This is such a quiet group. Hey, guys, come on. Really? Well, okay. All right, I'll give it just one more second. Okay, so I'm trying to think. I'll tell you how this calmness can start opening you up so that you don't react. There have been so many circumstances where a crisis just comes on me. And I've told this story, some people might have heard this before, but it really is the best example. I remember when my middle son was telling me at 6:45, when I'm driving my youngest to school, that he wants to drop out of school. And he was 16. And I'm not a morning person at all. And so when it would be very easy. And a little history about me, so you know where I'm coming from. My family prized higher education. And I thought that I didn't know it, I thought life stopped if you didn't go to college, okay, when I was growing up. I didn't know there was anything else. That's how I grew up. And I grew up to get 3 degrees and 3/4 of my doctorate. So, and I taught in universities for about 25 years. So I taught music. I had choirs. So academia, I have it written on my forehead. So when my son says he wants to drop out of high school, oh my gosh, could I have unleashed all that on him? Could I have unleashed all that? You don't have a life if you don't go. Could I have yes, I could have, in a shot, especially at 6:45 in the morning, because that's not my crowning hour. I haven't done my morning connection yet. I haven't had my cup of tea yet. So yes, I could have, but I'll tell you what, I now have that calm. And I'm also connected to my soul. But that calm, it wouldn't matter how connected I am to my soul, how much I've worked on my ego. If I am not calm, I wouldn't hear either one. I would react. But because I was calm, it gave me time to say, wait. And I actually did say to my soul, what should I do right now? And my soul said, look into his eyes, listen to his story. So my boys know when I get really quiet, it's not because they're in trouble. It's because I am centering and trying to hear something higher than what my ego or my beliefs would tell me to be. And that calmness gives me that time. And then I said, okay, I looked into his eyes. I saw pain. I saw a really deep hurt. Something was not right. And I said, okay, go to school today. And I said, and I'm going to look into it. And by noon this afternoon, we'll have a program put together for you. And I did it. I got him online courses. I got him somebody else to talk to other than myself. I set him up with a tutoring sessions and everything else. By noon that day, he was set. Now, see, that's what calm does. Calm gives you, and I'll tell you what, he's doing 100% better. And he still has all his friends. And you know what it did? What it did, that's one of the best things in the whole wide world. It built this really cool bond between us, because that one time showed him that I'm always in his corner. And it showed him that he can always come to me, that he doesn't have to hide his feelings, that he doesn't have to pretend he's somebody else, but that he can really be real with me. And it has changed our relationship. We joke around a lot more. He comes to me about anything now. That's really cool for a 16-year-old boy. So that calmness, if there's anything that you begin with in your own self-improvement, it is the calmness. It really is the start. So whatever it is that you begin, and it is a full day thing. You do have to set stuff up in your day. And I guess the biggest thing is, don't punish yourself when you don't have it. Don't punish yourself if you don't have anything. Just don't punish yourself, okay? Don't put yourself down. Don't even jokingly put yourself down. But just say, okay, so we reacted on that part. Okay, so I said some things I didn't want to say, or today felt crazy and I felt like my head was just cut off. I'm just not with it today. Tomorrow's a new beginning. It's a new day. I will start again. No big deal. I will just be more calm tomorrow. And that's the best you can do. And it's probably, and tomorrow will be a new day. So you don't have to feel like, or that next minute is a new minute. And you just begin again. And you'll get it. Before you know it, you'll be as really calm, and you'll be thinking, how is there any other way to live? You'll think, my God, wow. I look back at myself sometimes and I think, my God, that was so hard. I don't know how I got anything done. I really don't, because I was flitting from one crisis to another. And I really don't know how I functioned. So, all right. So are you all ready for this? Miss Pat, is it Pat? I don't know. Are you ready for this? Can you write, if you don't want to talk, can you write it in the chats? And Carolyn, can you write it in the chats? And Marta, I'm glad you're on. Can you write it in the chats? And Susan, who meditates 2 times a day, awesome. Write it in the chats, or you can say it. I don't care. But I would love to see if you feel like you got some value that you can put forward in this week. That's what I'd like to know. Or what did you like the best? Or what do you want to practice the most? Something along those lines. so I know where I stand with this. If there's something else I need to give you. Okay. Well, those will come. Other than that, I guess I can't glorify it enough. When you're calm, the world does change, and you owe it to yourself. Another thing that this guy I'm going to be interviewing, this Gabe Morale, whatever, what did I say his name? I forgot now already. But the doctor I was talking about, when I said that, he really talked about how we just push ourselves and we push down our feelings and we push down what our needs. I just want to stress that being calm, getting that calm factor takes a little bit of you starting. I think it's a very good first step for honoring yourself. It's saying, I'm important enough. I am important enough to take time to make sure my well-being is good. I'm important enough that I need to know that I need to go forward in a way that's best for me. Okay? All right. So we're off to a week. Pick a tool, develop that morning connection, take the breaks during the day, do that awesome little mini meditation I taught you. That's actually a Taoism meditation. To find that, there's a few Taoism meditations that are very, very cool that just help you to get centered. So do that whenever you need it, and add a little bit of fun to your day. And know that life is meant for us to experience and not to suffer. Okay? And let's develop that calm. You will reap so many benefits with just that one tool in your pocket. So I'm so happy you joined us. I would love it if you could somehow either go on soulmanifesto.com and write in the comments what you liked or what you didn't like about this. We can, Susan, we can make heaven on earth. Actually, heaven is here. And also, I would love it. Oh, Marta, did you want to say something? Okay.
No, I'm just trying to learn.
You're just trying to learn? Okay, that's good. Also, guys, I also want to let you know, I am giving more tools, more than this actually, called the 7-Day Reset to set up your inner calm. And it's a program that is coming out very soon. So go to Soul Manifesto, make sure you're registered, because I'll send it to you in the email list. It is a free program. It's 7 days long, and you get these little videos that you can listen to anytime. Anytime you need that little mini thing, anytime you need that little, and there's another, I teach in that series, I teach this wonderful Tao meditation breathing technique that helps you while you're in the meeting so that you can be fully attentive. What do they say in the Tao? They say, you're ready like a cat, but yet you're calm like the water. Isn't that cool? I teach that too. So if you're interested in that free program, it's coming out, I think it's coming out the beginning of next week. And isn't that funny? There's so many things that are just coming. I'm so happy. But get yourself on the email list and we can send it to you. I've had a lot of fun talking about this. This is near and dear to my heart because it really changed the scope of my life. And I'm hoping it'll change yours. But thank you for joining us. I hope you join us next week. Della, do we know what we're talking about next week? I wrote it down. What was it? Do you know?
I am pulling it up now.
Okay, so you know, you have a little bit of a foretelling. What is it next week? I forget. I got an itch. I will pull it up if I can, but you know what? It takes me a lot longer than you actually. So I won't even try.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, it's clear the excess in your life and clear the excess in your mind.
Oh, and once you're calm, that's easy. We can do that. You'll listen to this next week and you'll be like, I got that, Elena. All right. I love you all. All right. Remember, please, during the day, just say, Spirit is love. And love, every time I celebrate love, every time I feel love or unconditional love, universal love, I am spirit. I am with spirit. Okay? Namaste. I love you all. Ah, Susan, love and light to you, sweetie. Thank you for all your comments. I love it. I hope to see you again. All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Oh, somebody's just entered. Oh. All right. Bye-bye. Missed the whole thing.